Today we're using book pages to make a variety of embellishments for our journal. These are for my journal for the Just Junk Journal Challenge number 2. Stay tuned. Hi everybody, it's Julie, and today we're going to work with book pages. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Julie, and I post a crafty video, usually paper crafting or journal making. Sometimes it is home decor or a store haul, shopping haul. So if you like that kind of thing, go ahead and click the subscription and the notification bell so you know when I put up a new video or I am live. So we are going to jump into this. I want to thank you for being here. This is for my Just Junk Journal Challenge 2, the journal that I'm making for the challenge. If you're interested in the challenge, it is in the description box below, the details video. Okay, so here we go. I have this book that I'm using. I used the cover on a different journal a while ago, and so I'm just going through, cutting out pages. I've already pulled out all the blank pages and used them, and so now, well, one of the things I did just spot a word, so the word dream jumped out at me, so I want to make sure I cut that out. Okay, so there we go, dream. Okay, and let's see, family is here, and understanding. Okay, it says family, his family, my family, family, my family. I'm going to keep those. And so just going through and look at perspective. Oh, tools. I'm making a gardening journal, so that is the tools to help. Give me the tools to help. Okay, and then can look at the other. I wonder as I wander. I guess that was somebody's book. I kind of like those words. In the last video, I was like, oh, I wish I had some words to put on these. Okay, so resources. Okay, so and then as I continue to work through these pages, I'll be looking also, and then I'm gonna, well, I don't need to throw this one away because I do have something that we can use at least some of it for. Okay, so okay, so using a book page. So I did finally remember what my 2 punches are. I'm going to be using this lace flower punch. It's from EK Success. I believe it's discontinued. We've looked for it. Some have found it on eBay, so keep watching. Again, it's EK Success. And so I have already gone ahead and got some out. It does have a little issue right here, and sometimes it sticks over on the other side. I'm okay with that, but there we go. So another thing, when I was doing it, I was like, oh, you know, back when I was really having trouble with this, before I found that I really needed to stand up and I needed to push at the top and the bottom, this is what was happening. Well, I decided that that might actually be kind of fun to have that on one of the pockets that I make. So we're going to go ahead and make one of the pockets using that. And I'm going to have this at the top. So my pocket is going to fold like here. Now, when you're using a book, you might want to check your book for, you know, for the subject and things like that, especially if you're going to be giving your book, your journal, or away, or you're going to be selling it. you know, you just don't want it to be colorful unless you really like that sort of thing. Then you might not care. I don't want to sell a colorful journal. So I'm going to go ahead this time, and I do these different ways, different times. So this time I'm going to go ahead, and I have cut off the edge because it was going to not fit inside. So I want this to fit inside. Then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to just attach this here, and I'm also going to put some glue here. Okay, and then I'm going to come across the bottom of the little flap. Okay, and put it across. So one of my favorite things to do with book papers is to make these little pockets, and this time I've made it with the flower. So if I use like one of my blue pieces of, these are printouts, email stuff that didn't come out right, but if I use one of my blue, it will show through there, and I think that will be really, really cool. So so that is one way to use a punch. Of course, you can go in and punch out if you're using like a scalloped edge punch or a label punch. You can go ahead and punch that out. But and I do like the ripped edge. It's another thing that I like to do with this. If I am using a circle punch, if that's something I can use, then I might put that up there, but not on this one. And yes, I'm okay that it's closed off up there. You could go ahead and play with it and get those out if you wanted to. But you can see that several of the places are intact, and that's why this will work. So that is one way. So another way, I'm going to make another pocket. This one will probably be it's going to be a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go ahead, and we're just going to do another pocket. We're going to decorate it using some of the junk that I've collected. So the junk for this journal project is anything that someone else would discard, pretty much is how it works. So I've got glue on here and glue on these, and those are the edges that I want to make sure will attach. So this one I've attached in the center. I'm going to turn it over and use my pocket from this side. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to use birds. So we have our birds that we're using from the address labels. You can see the top of the address label right there. I'm going to go ahead and put this right here. So really similar to what I did with the calendar, but we're using the stickers. Okay, and then I want to use something down below here that looks like an American goldfinch to me. So I'm going to go ahead and use the American goldfinch from my napkin. We're still within the mini challenge and the challenge time. And so in the mini challenge, you were allowed to use one napkin, and you could use all of it to make embellishments for your journal. So I still have a few pieces left. I will put the journal, or put the that video in the description box below. That is using a napkin in my journal. So here, one of the things that was on there was the words American Goldfinch. And so there we go. Okay, so next you can use your binding thread. So whatever binding thread you've chosen to use, choose wisely, because you can also use that in your journal. I'm going to go ahead and make a bow here out of my thread. So I'm going to go ahead and, so I've wrapped it around my fingers. I'm going to twist it, and then I'm going to set it in a pile of fabric tack. So I'm going to just put a dot, but it's a pretty little bit of a hefty dot there. And try and make sure all the strings are covered, and then put some on top as well. So if you're using your sewing machine, yes, you can use the messy threads from your sewing machine. So you also can use 2 threads, like sewing machine thread, in your journal, even if you're not going to be sewing with your machine. Okay, so next I'm going to bring out my other punch, and I've chosen my Fluffy Flower punch. This is also an EK Success punch. I had gotten this at Target years ago. It came with two flowers. It was this one and a pointy one that I used to make my little poinsettias. So this is one of my favorite things that I make. It's called a Fluffy Flower, and there is a video for this called Fluffy Flowers. Okay, we'll go ahead and use this. So I punched out 5 of them. And I'm just waiting for, I like to use the Aleene's for this. The consistency of it works really well for what I want to do here, if it will come out. This is a brand new bottle, but it's stuck. So you just want a little pile of glue, and then you can use like a skewer, which is my favorite thing to use, but it doesn't look like I have one. I have a toothpick. That won't work. It would work if I cut it. So close your eyes. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to use the bottom of a toothpick this time. I'm going to put my toothpick in the glue. I'm going to grab my Fluffy Flower. I'm going to pinch it over the edge. I'm going to put it back in the glue. And I'm going to put it down. And this time I'm going to put it right there on top of my bow. I'm going to grab the next one. You can even get from the edge of your book, you can get like all clear white pages if you wanted to. There we go. Glue. Pinch. The pinching is where you get the fluffy. And actually there's probably enough glue if you just went straight in. But just in case yeah, the size of a skewer gives you more surface, and it's even better than paper clip or than a toothpick. Okay, so here we're going to go ahead, fluff it around there, put it in, and there you have a fluffy flower using book paper. So that is my very favorite thing to do with book paper right there, is make fluffy flowers. They make a great embellishment and a great way to use up your book pages. So that gives us another pocket. Let's see. So if you have blank papers, you can use them in your journal just, you know, as pages. If they have have words on them, you might just go ahead and put something together and cover up the words. So I think that's what we're going to do with this one. We're going to make a flip up, flip down, and we're going to cover it with stickers. These are from address labels. They were my parents. So I've cut off all the address part. And okay, so another thing you can do is when I get little circles out of these also. Okay. So let's see, what can we do here? Okay, put that back. Okay, okay, remember we have pieces from the calendar. We have this little collaged piece from the napkin, and I am trying to use up the napkin, so I'm going to go ahead and put that down right next to that area. So you might have like a lacy flower punch that actually looks like a flower that you could use. You might have a doily punch. You get to use 2 punches, and if you're using the crocodile, that counts as one of your punches. Okay. I will also put the playlist of book paper ideas that I have in the description box. That will give you some more ideas as well. Okay, so I'm just putting some glue on around the inside circle and the outside of this, so that it will hopefully stay on. We've covered up the words. I love the way book pages look on things. Okay, so you could build another fluffy flower on here. You could add your string. Remember, you can go ahead, you can macrame, you can tie knots with your string to get a variety of things using your threads. Okay, here I'm just going to do like I would on a card. And I've doubled it because I want it to be a little bit more substantial. And here again, I'm using my binding string. You can use, once you've bound your book or chosen your binding string, you can use your binding string and your 4 clips all in your journal. So your graph, if you used a graph paper or whatever for your template, because your template is part of your binding kit, so you can also go ahead and put that somewhere in your journal if you want to. So here, we'll just make sure that that is down. And I think I will add a fluffy flower. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And some aleenes. There's our glue. And our toothpick. Put some glue down. Okay, and one other thing, I surprised everybody the other day by distressing during the live video. So I probably should distress these. So this ends up, it'll be a flip up pocket in my journal. Embellishment. But it also counts as an embellishment from the mini challenge and the challenge because it has the napkin on it. And the last one. Hopefully there's enough glue on the previous one to hold it. Okay, so there's that. Then go ahead, and of course you can go ahead and distress your items before you make it. It does make a difference. So this is one of my chosen stamp pads that I'm using. So, and you could just go ahead and, a couple things you could do. One thing is you could go ahead and just stamp some color on your lace. And if you're doing it on your book, you're also going to get the impression and have a stencil of it on there. So that might be kind of fun. So don't forget that you have your ink pads and that you can do things like that with them. And if you have from your jewelry, you might have a little bling that you can add into the centers of your flower. So another thing that I like to do is, so this one wants to be ripped this way. So yes, your paper probably has, just like material, it has a way that it wants to be cut, just like a steak. Okay, so these pieces can be awesome, like on your, if you're making like Franken paper, or even just to come back in and add strips. Don't forget your book pages. Okay, they add so much interest to collaging. They're probably my favorite collaging thing is book pages. Okay, so you can just come back in with your all those little pieces of things that we had, that we've been using, including your napkin if you have it, and you can go ahead and do make a striped background. So don't forget about your book pages. Okay. Okay, and then you can come back and add one of your stickers. You could add another little flower, but that just so that you remember that you can use strips of book paper, just really add interest. And it's very easy. Okay. Okay, so there's adding strips. You can also add little strips. Okay, so if you were ruffling this, okay, so say, and I'm not gonna have time to glue this down, but if you were ruffling this and putting it onto, we don't want to put it on here, let's put it on this. So this is making little paper strip embellishments. We will go ahead. Okay, so again, you can sew it with your machine. Okay, and go ahead and put this down on. Okay, there's that. And then add your book paper on top. Especially if you had a sentence that you wanted to, it says my father. Oh my gosh, how cool. Okay, so there. Just a little ruffle embellishment using your book paper. And okay, we have one more thing using strips of your book paper. So we'll just go ahead and use this one here. And this, we want it to come in at an angle, kind of like at a V. Okay, just like that. We're going to cut this off. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start our glue right there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my paintbrush, because you only get to use the tools in this challenge that you're allowed to use. And you know, a crochet hook, piece of wire. Now if you chose wire for one of your other things, then yeah, you can use your wire, but this works. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll this. Okay, and I'm going to roll it on top of itself. Okay. And there we are going to have a paper bead. So if that tells you that you should pick a paintbrush that is a little thinner, then that's okay. There you go. You have a paper bead made out of your book paper. And of course you can do that out of the calendar page, the book pages, all those different things. And you could have some really great beads for making charms and things for your journal. So that is another little way to use your book pages. So we showed you the little strip embellishment using your ink to color your book page. We made a bead we used strips to collage and then added a sticker, and we'll be able to make something out of this. And we can even come in and put this on here. We have our flip up that has our binding string. We used the lacy flower and the fluffy flower along with a sticker. And this was a book page. Okay, so that was the whole thing. This was a book page with just a little writing on it, and we covered the writing. Let's see, we have this one where we use the sticker, the fluffy flower. We use some napkin. Use napkin there also. And then we punched and made our pocket. So we have the punch out in our pocket. And let's see. Go ahead and make okay, so we can go ahead and make an insert for inside here. Let's see. Yeah. You can use your cutter, of course. And I would recommend it. Okay, so there we have this that can go inside. My paper here happens to have lines on it, so I want the lines to be on what I flip up. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this in, and I'm going to grab a sticker and put it so that it's framed in there. Wish me luck. Okay, if I use that one, you'll see like the birdhouse and at least one of the birds. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. The thing about these stickers is they catch quickly. So I'm going to put my fingers on it like this. I'm going to put my paper in. I'm going to reach in till it is where I want. And I'm going to put it down, and then I'm going to bring it out and try and straighten it out. So hopefully we're close. Okay. There we go. We have our cute little birdhouse. You can see it inside there, and of course we can come in and decorate with some of our things, other things here. You could even glue a colored one of these on top. You can see it's always kind of in the same place that it. You even glue them like that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. So that they're off a little bit and they become like a flower. Kind of like that. Okay. There we go. Kind of gives like a lattice look. There we go. I'm going to pull this out because I don't want it to We'll let it dry. But there you go. Several ideas using your book pages. And so I hope this gives you some ideas. And I look forward to seeing what you do with book pages in your journal. It is, you know, you can use as many book pages as you want. And I'm talking book pages like your empty book should be book pages that have writing on them like this, okay? Your other book, your discarded book, can be, you know, can have pictures and things in it. I don't have mine right here, but mine is just a little tiny bird field guide book. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you love this video, please go watch another video because YouTube likes that. Find something to celebrate every day. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the details video down below and have an amazing day. The playlist for book pages will also be down below. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Bye. Bye-bye.